good. But anyway, so I was sitting there, and at this point, it was probably like we graduated in May, and it was probably like end of like July, right? And I remember thinking to myself, like, I need to find a job because I'm all on my own now and I have to pay bills. And I was thinking to myself, like, well, I'm not like Kit Kat. So therefore, if I'm not like Kit Kat and I wasn't nerdy enough, I wasn't going to be able to get that job. I had some self-doubt, right? I had some of that imposter syndrome going on, even though I knew like the basics of programming, the like basic fundamentals, right? I knew enough I had the tools, my friends. I had the tools. However, I did have a sense of this imposter syndrome just because in my mind, I was like, I wasn't as good as Kit Kat. It just wasn't. So what happened? Well, I was in a coffee shop one day, and a guy who was like, he was probably also a recent college grad. He was probably maybe like 4 or 5 years older than me. And he was like a cool guy. He was like a cool, talkable guy. Like, he came and sat down next to me. He was drinking coffee, and he's like, hey man, what's your name? Where are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm from here. He's like, you look like a college student. Are you about to graduate? I was like, I actually just did. He was like, huh, what did you study? And I was like, computer science. And he was like, are you working here right now? I was like, no, I'm actually looking for a job. He's like, dude, take down my number. Let's come meet again here at whatever date that it was. It was like 1 or 2 days later. He's like, come back and meet me here. And he's like, I'm going to get you a job. And I was just like, look at this dude like he was crazy. And I was like, who the fuck are you? But I went there and we talked about it. He's like, hey, he's like, you went to Ole Miss. And he was a headhunter, by the way, guys. He was a headhunter. He's like, you went to Ole Miss. I have a client who only hires Ole Miss graduates, and they desperately need a new developer, and they need a junior developer. So they need someone fresh. And he's like, and they're very particular about who they want on their team. They don't want people who are very, how he described strange, or what you would consider to be your average nerd, because I had to be dealing with clients who were in the company, because it was a telecom company, and our clients, we were the automation department of a telecom company, and we automated software for the telecom company. So I had to speak to actual people who didn't know anything about code and who were like just normal people. So the fact that it required me to have human interaction, they wanted someone who wasn't a fucking nerd, to put it to you guys simply. So to make the longer story short, needless to say, I ended up getting that job. And I worked there for about 2 years. And that wasn't the best paying job ever, because it was a junior job in the middle of Jackson, Mississippi. But it was very fucking good experience, because this company, guys, I'm not going to poop on them, but they're kind of a little wagey. At least they were like 10 years ago. But they were like, we're the Google of Mississippi. If you guys want to just search Google of Mississippi, you probably know which company I'm talking about. And it was a good job. All right. And I was ecstatic, but the whole point was I got that job because I wasn't a nerd. All right. Now just wait, guys. The Kit Kat story. Fuck. I may or may not have accidentally doxed somebody. The Kit Kat story. It doesn't end right there. Okay. So everybody knows your first job as a developer, as an engineer, like that's probably going to be your least paying job. But once you get that like 1 to 2 years of experience, people start coming out the woodwork, because they know that you're trained and they know that you're available to do good stuff, right? And they know that you're underpaid, so they're going to come and try to take you guys away. By the way, for anyone in here in DD, we're going to be a little late on the webinar because I know it's 8:30 right now. So let me finish the story, guys, and then we can get to the webinar. So I got acquisitioned for another job out of the blue, and they were like, "Hey, dude, you graduated from Ole Miss. We're a job in the same city as Ole Miss. We said you've been working for 2 years now, and would you like to come over here and make an extra $25,000 a year?" And me, being a 23-year-old at the time, I was like, "Yeah, I will." So I took that job offer, and I packed up my stuff, and I moved back to good old Oxford, Mississippi, the city where I went to college in. And I started work at the new job with a big fancy salary upgrade. And while I was moving into town, I remember, guys, I had just finished moving all my crap in the new house that I was in. And I was like, man, I'm hungry. I need to go get me a Jimmy John's sandwich because they didn't have a Jimmy John's in Jackson for whatever reason. And I was craving myself a good old Jimmy John's sandwich. So I went to Jimmy John's. And by the way, guys, while I was in school, Kit Kat happened to work part-time as a delivery driver for Jimmy John's. Now, if you guys remember what I was saying about Kit Kat, when I saw their skills and ability, I was like, damn, this person's way too good. I am fucking terrible compared to this person. And they're like, even though they're a supreme nerd, they're going to be way more successful than me at this field. I'll probably never get a job. They're going to get a job like that. Here I was on my second job, moving up in the world, right? Went to Jimmy John's, and lo and behold, sorry, Kit Kat, if you're watching, I know you're probably not. Kit Kat was still there working as a Jimmy John's delivery driver. So the moral of the story, my friends, is not being a nerd is actually what got me ahead in this field. Okay? And I would say that maybe if you are a nerd and you are going to choose this field, not like you're going to do terribly, but your ability and mobility to move up in the ranks is going to be suppressed. Because if you can only deal with machines and you can't deal with the people that are using the machines, you're going to be handicapped.